His last game in Chicago, Andy did not throw the ball well, did not have good command of any of his pitches. And right there was a changeup that he threw, like you said, about 55 feet.
The runner takes off, and it holds up as the pitch is on the outside corner for a call strike. Now it's 3-2. Green at first base took off like he was headed down to second, then stopped. And it's a good thing that he did.
Yeah, I was looking at the monitor and I saw Green out of the corner of my eye taking off, and I thought, boy, that's a strike. Throw him out at second base.
A runner takes off, and the pitch is fouled out of play. So confidence in Jose Canseco, who strikes out a lot. Sending the runner on 3-2, nobody out here in the first inning. But like I said, Canseco has been hot with the bat. He's on a 12-game hitting streak. Look at the biceps as Canseco, along with the new single-season baseball home run champion, Mark McGwire, their arms are bigger than my waist. They are just big and strong. And Pettit's going to pick off Green at first. They've got to watch Stewart at third. Now Green in a rundown. They'll put the tag on him. Nice play by Knobloch as they hold the runner at third. So Pettit with that great pickoff helps himself here at the top of the first. And there's one gone.
Andy Pettit has another pitch in his arsenal, and it's the pickoff. Shawn Green made the mistake of not making sure that Andy Pettit was going home with the ball. And that great pickoff move, that long stride, Shawn Green got hung out to dry.
And did he ever. And the infield now will come in with one out on a 3-2 count to Canseco. He got him. The high fastball blown by Canseco, a big strikeout for Pettit. That's got to be a huge boost for Andy Pettit here in the first inning.
Andy Pettit trying to throw the ball high and in, and gets the ball high and out over the plate. But high is the place to throw it to Jose Canseco, a real good low ball hitter. That ball had some mustard on it, and Jose Canseco was trying to hit it up to the North Bronx.
And Canseco kind of walking around in the dugout. I think he swung at ball 4. Nevertheless, there's 2 gone. Canseco now with 136 strikeouts will send up Carlos Delgado, a left-handed batter who a year ago was being platooned against some tough left-handed pitching, is now having a fantastic year. As you mentioned, TJ, in Skydome against Pettit his last time out, he hit the longest home run in Skydome history in right field, and we were there to witness it.
Yes, we were. And when you look at this young man, at this body that he's got, you understand that just watching him taking batting practice, tremendous bat speed.
And another fastball inside, just missing now at 2-0 to Delgado. Well, just to show you what the Blue Jay franchise thinks of Carlos Delgado, he has been named the captain of this ball club. The first captain since John Mayberry way back years ago. And that's the breaking ball up high for ball 3, 3-0.
You don't think Andy Pettit was thinking about that home run, a 2-0 count, first inning, threw him a cutter, a breaking ball in the first inning? Pitchers like elephants, they have long memories.
Well, you have to have a long memory when you've got 30 home runs and 102 ribbies. And that was an off-speed breaking ball up high, ball 4. And it was almost like Pettit was somewhat pitching around Delgado.
You're pitching around a left-handed hitter, and you being a tough left-handed pitcher. But sometimes I felt more comfortable pitching to right-handed hitters than I did left-handed hitters. If I didn't feel that I had the command of my fastball away to make good pitches on the outside corner to a left-handed hitter, I would rather walk him and pitch to the right-hander. And look what Andy Pettit did, throwing a breaking ball 3-0.
Cruz is back with the Toronto Blue Jays and hitting 5th in this lineup. And a strike one to Jose Cruz Jr. He got off to a miserable start in 1998. Finally, the Blue Jays had to send him back to their AAA club to work some of the kinks out and build up his confidence once again. And now he is back. And since his recall from the minor leagues, as Torrey and Stottlemyre looked on, Cruz with 5 home runs and 23 RBIs. And of course, he was in that big trade when Boljeric and Timlin went from the Blue Jays out to the Seattle Mariners for this young prospect and future superstar. That'll leave the count up at 1-1.
I think Jose Cruz Jr. got a little, maybe just a little too full of himself and thought that he had everything wrapped up and really didn't get it all going. Sent him down to Syracuse, the old Yankee farm club, and it kind of slapped him in the face a little bit.
And the changeup again, almost in the same area. That's another good job by Girardi, holding that runner at third and knocking that ball down only about 55 feet. So Andy doesn't have that good grip and command of the changeup. Wow.
Joe Girardi looked like a goalie in soccer there, trying to, yeah.
Now that's twice he's had to knock a couple of those down. So the count goes to 2-1 now on Cruz Jr. Runners at first and third and 2 outs here at the top of the first. Up high and away, now it's 3-1. Well, Pettit has done just about everything he can do, I think, to get himself out of this jam. It's been his only jam. No help from anybody else. And now he's worked himself into a hole here with Jose Cruz Jr. The runner will hold, and the pitch is in there for a call strike. Now it's 3-2.
There was an old Yankee pitcher one time named Ralph Terry, and we'll see a cutter right inside here and ties Cruz up. But Ralph Terry told me one time about me playing golf. He said, don't pitch yourself out of the game in the first inning. If you're a control pitcher and you don't have your control, don't pitch yourself out of the game in the first inning.
Delgado is off, and it's grounded towards Groshans. He will check second and throw back to Martinez. A nice scoop by Tino Martinez. Well, you got to give Pettit some credit. He pitched himself out of this jam. No score. Yankees coming in. Knobloch will lead it off. This is on the Corona Extra lineup card. Knobloch, Jeter, O'Neill, Williams, Martinez, Strawberry, the DH, Leday, Groshans, and then Girardi.
Here's Toronto's starting defense. Stewart, Cruz, Green in the outfield. Santiago, Fernandez, Gonzalez, Graybeck, and at first base, Carlos Delgado. Switched over from a catcher, couldn't do it. Brought him back up as a first baseman, and this young man has a super future.
And the Blue Jay pitcher, Pat Hinkins, first pitch to Knobloch as we take a look at Hinkins' numbers. 12 and 10 on the year. 68 base on balls. He struck out 92, but better known as the workhorse. Along with Roger Clemens on this Blue Jays staff. But Hinkin last year, 264 innings, 174 and 2/3 so far here in 1998. Has had a little bit of shoulder tenderness. He missed the start last month. Well, hit down the right field line. This will be trouble for Green, and it's off the wall. Knobloch around first. Green's got a gun to throw. Not in time. Good play by Sean Green in right field. An even better base running play by Knobloch, and the Yankees have a leadoff double.
Pat Hinkin going in with a high fastball, and Chuck Knobloch, as we've seen him do so many times, takes the ball right down the line. That's about a foot from going out of the ballpark. And Chuck thinks he's got a home run. No, I don't think so. Now watch him go hard right here. Good decision and a good stand-up slide.
So Knobloch with speed down at second. That'll bring up Derek Jeter, and what a year he is having. Batting .334. That's a .334 average with 19 home runs and 77 RBIs. This is on the ground towards Gonzalez, so he'll pick it up and throw out Jeter. Knobloch will end up at third with one out, and Paul O'Neill will have a chance to drive him in. Jeter setting new highs for himself almost every time he goes to the plate. I don't think he swung at the pitch he actually wanted to swing at on that first pitch from Hinkin.
He was got a hanging breaking ball and it really did a good job of getting the ball on the ground, playing a little team baseball, and Knobloch read it. The ball was back of him, and he took off for third base. Now, Toronto's got to play the infield in here in the first inning. They can't let the Yankees get too far out in front. They've got to play everything close to their vest. All you're saying on that right side, Bobby, is please don't throw anything slowing in to O'Neill.
Well, that's a fastball away on O'Neill, the first pitch. Well, like the Yankees, you know, after Toronto made the first out, they brought the infield in against Canseco with a runner at third. And here comes Toronto, so Hinkin will try to pitch his way out of it like Pettit did in the top of the first. Well hit to right field. Green will look up, and it's gone. O'Neill will put the Yankees in front 2-0. And O'Neill with his 22nd home run. He hit 2 last night. And in his first at bat here tonight, he goes deep.
Bobby, as you well know, when you were a hitter and you had runners in scoring position, watch the high breaking ball. Your eyes would light up, and Paul O'Neill's eyes lit up. And the scoreboard lit up on that one.
And the bleacher creatures are happy early on in this game.
High breaking balls go a long way.
Do they ever? And Bernie will step in now. Let's take another look at that high breaking ball that hung up. Let's just see. And oh, what a sound. From a hitter's standpoint, that's one of the most beautiful sounds of all time. Not so from the pitcher, I guess. Right, TJ? Well, you don't know that much. I mean, you didn't hear that sound that much.
Shoot, all those balls that they hit off me sounded like that. Some were on the ground. They put holes through nettles at third base, but other than that.
Somebody said with all those home runs you gave up, you had a little bit of loss of hearing. And you don't hear so well right now. Is that correct?
Huh?
Bernie sends one into center field, but Cruz is there. So 2 gone for New York here in the bottom of the first.
You know, as a pitcher, when you make a pitch like that, you're hoping that you get lucky enough that you get by with it, that he fouls it off or pops it up. And Pat Hinkin was not lucky.
Well, you got O'Neill, who is hot with the bat again. So Paul is not one of those guys that when he gets a hanger and he's hot that he misses. In batting practice today, I was watching him hit, and he hit almost every ball hard and lined it someplace. And that's strike 1 to Martinez. Martinez, 25 home runs, 113 RBIs.
2 years ago, Hinkin and Pettit were battling each other out going down the stretch for the Cy Young.
Yeah, Hinkin won the Cy Young in 1996. That's popped up into left. Easy play for Stewart. But the Yankees come back here in the bottom of the first inning. Paul O'Neill, take another look at it. Yankees 2, Blue Jays 0. Lots of Yankee hats depicting the American League Eastern Divisional Champions. Tonight, a lot of youngsters on hand. It is a beautiful night for baseball. Tony Fernandez leads it off, and the first pitch is fouled back and out of play. Well, the Yankee having a good year, batting .315, 6 home runs at 58 RBIs. The switch hitter in this Blue Jay lineup. He will pop it up into right field. Should be an easy play for O'Neill. It is, and there's one gone. So, TJ, 2 pitches here in the top of the second. Pettit's already got 1 out.
Much better than the first inning, and that last pitch was the breaking ball that Andy doesn't feature that often. Many times pitchers, after your team is clinched, yes, you still like to win, but you like to get the pitches. I know I like to get the pitches that I was having trouble with ready for the playoffs. And if I was having trouble with my changeup and curveball, then I would throw it in situations that you would never throw it in.
And there's the breaking ball up high to Santiago. Santiago has been hurt most of the year. And that's well hit and past Jeter. Quickly over is Leday. Santiago will hold at first. 1 out base hit for Benito Santiago.
Watch him get a fastball there right out on the plate and turned it just by Derek Jeter. Santiago, they could really have used him this year. What a great catcher he was, or is. And with a young staff, and even with Roger Clemens as the veteran, love to pitch to a guy like Santiago.
Well, he did make his first start until September the 6th. That's only about a day ago, or a couple of days ago, against Boston. We'll take a look at Graybeck with 1 out. Here in the second inning, Yankees lead it 2-0. Graybeck playing second base tonight, so Tony Fernandez moves to third. And one of the things I think, TJ, that is different in this Blue Jay ball club, and certainly they are responding and playing better because of it. That's hit hard and past Knobloch into center field. Quickly over is Williams. Santiago on his way to third, and the throw will be off of Brochus' glove, and Graybeck takes advantage of that high throw from Williams in center, so he moves to second.
Santiago not known for his speed, but getting a Graybeck getting a ball up the middle. I think Knobloch might have been shielded a little bit by Tim McClellan at second base. Just a little screenplay right there. And Bernie Williams did something that an outfielder, Bobby, you know, should not do. Missed the cutoff man. The guy's already got third base. You don't want the batter to go to second base on that.
Takes a double play out of order for the 9th place hitter. And this is Gonzalez. That's up high and outside for a ball. So that high throw from Bernie does a couple of things besides taking the double play out of order. It puts the tying run down at second base in scoring position.
There you go.
Well, everybody knows about the new home run champion. 62 home runs for Mark McGwire, and what a outstanding and memorable feat that is. Alex Gonzalez tied a major league record last night of his own, and 6 strikeouts in 1 game. Those are the type of records that you really don't want. Still a young hitter, learning how to hit. That's off at the end of the bat. Nice play by Knobloch. As he throws out Gonzalez, Santiago comes on to score, and it's 2-1 New York.
Gonzalez did a good job. That sinker down and away. That was a good pitch by Andy Pettit. It was a good play by Chuck Knobloch, getting himself turned around. That's easy. That play right there is so easy to throw the ball away at first base. Knobloch did a good job.
So Shannon Stewart bats for the second time, and that pitch inside for a ball. Stewart walked back in the first when Pettit ran into all kinds of problems, but pitched his way out of it. But the Blue Jays come back here in the second inning to score 1 so far. Off the end of the bat and into center field. So Graybeck will come on to score, and it's a tie game at 2.
Stottlemyre and Torrey looking on as Andy Pettit gives up a cutter inside. It doesn't quite get in, though, and it jammed him. It jams Shannon Stewart, but watch Joe Girardi right on the inside half. You want the cutter being in off the plate.
So with Green stepping in, Stewart with good speed again at first base. Ground ball to hole and fast off block. So Green is 2 for 2. Stewart will end up at third. And another hit for the Blue Jays here in the second inning. Blue Jays now with 4 hits here in the second.
Watch Joe going away. Now watch where the ball is. Right on the outside part of the plate. The ball was up just slightly, but still a pretty good pitch. You've got to be able to pitch away to left-handed hitters in this ballpark to be successful.
Boy, Green taking advantage of that big hole between first and second to pick up his second hit. We'll see if he stays a little bit closer to first. He was picked off back in the first inning, so Canseco will come to bat with 2 men on. He struck out his first time up.
But Bobby, how many times though when you were up there knowing that there was that hole at first base and you kind of knew that they were going to pitch you away, that you were looking out there, and how many times did you just take it and do like Sean Green and just hook the ball in that hole?
Well, you look to take advantage of that. I mean, if you get the pitch to pull, you might as well take advantage of it. Now it's 1-1. Canseco hit a long one off of Pettit in his last outing at the Sky Dome.
Seems to me that was on a 3-2 pitch, and the ball was middle half of the plate. You either want to pitch Jose down and away or the up and in. That's the old way. That's about the 5th changeup that Andy Pettit has bounced in front of home plate.
Nice play again by Girardi. I mentioned Canseco struck out back in the first inning, and he has done that a lot of times this year, more times than anybody in the American League. So now he leads it with 136, which is not new for him. He normally strikes out quite a few times during the course of the season.
Toronto's got three out of the top 5 in there. Swing hard in case you hit it. You know, the way I looked at it, Bobby, I don't know how you did, but a strikeout sometimes is better off than putting the ball in play, because then you stay out of the double play. But an out's an out, whether it's a strikeout or a pop-up. It's just certain situations you want to stay out of the strikeout.
Canseco, the first player in baseball to post the 40 home run and 40 stolen bases in the same season. And this is high and deep in the left field. If it's fair, it is trouble. And it is big time trouble. It's a 3-run home run for Canseco. Canseco's 42nd home run of the year, and that will bring him to 99 RBIs. And now Toronto will take the lead back away from New York.
Jose Canseco did something right here. He's up on that bat about 2 inches. Before, he was down on the knob like most sluggers go, but it was almost as if he was looking for the cutter inside to shorten the bat and shorten his swing so he could get the bat head out on that cut fastball, which he did.
And Delgado now, it's still 2 outs.
Andy's going in, and Jose shortened up on that bat and got the ball down and hit a big fly ball.
So the Blue Jays have scored 5 runs here in the top of the second, highlighted by that Canseco home run. 16th time that the Yankees, check that, 17th time now that the Yankees have given up 5 or more runs in 1 inning. Now it's 2 balls and a strike to Delgado. Tinez will put it away, but big damage done by the Blue Jays here in the second. They come up with 5 big runs, and it's 5-2 Toronto. Strawberry leading off, and that's the second pitch of the inning, popped up to the shortstop Gonzalez. So 2 pitches here at the bottom of the second, 1 gone for New York. That'll bring up Ricky Leday. So new life now for Henkin, who had taken a pounding in the bottom of the first inning, giving up a home run to O'Neill. Yankees led it 2-0. Now it's a 5-2 Toronto. And Leday getting another start in left field for New York. Of course, the month of September is the big call-up month, when the rosters can expand back to 40 men. And the Yankees have called up several players, including Leday. Well hit into right field. That'll be a 1-out base hit for Leday. And like Sean Green in right field, Ricky Leday, a great prospect for New York.
Ricky Leday with that semi-high leg kick. Looks a little bit like a Kirby Puckett. He gets that fastball away and just hooks it out into right field. Well, I tell you, Bobby, from what we saw of him earlier this year here in New York, and what I saw of him down in Columbus when he came in Charlotte, this guy's got a bright future. Very bright.
And Joe Torre still pondering what he wants to do as far as the playoff roster is concerned. There may be a player or two that you wouldn't think of that Joe Torre may keep on this ball club. I know he wants to go with 10 pitchers. And until, I think, TJ, the other division winners have been announced and that they know and who they're going to play in the playoffs, I think that's when you'll really see Joe Torre beginning to start to jockey his roster.
Well, it looks like the West is going to go down to the last few games, because Texas and Anaheim play each other 5 times coming up in the last 17 games.
Brocious has a 7-game hitting streak. That'll be a base hit, so make it 8 for Brocious as the Yankees come back with a couple of men who are on now with base hits, and that'll bring up Joe Girardi.
Henkin is a high fastball pitcher. And you see right there, he throws that good riding fastball, gets a lot of pop-ups. And when he's not on, or his fastball is a little less than its best, he'll give up a lot of base hits. But as you said, Bobby, earlier, he's a battler. He's the workhorse. He's the guy out there that, until Roger Clemens came over, that was going to go to the mound about 35, 36 times a season.
Well, Tim Johnson looking on as this Blue Jay ball club 4.5 games back of Boston in the wild card. So this game is extremely important to them. Not that important to the Yankees, since they've already wrapped it up in the East. Maybe for wins and trying to be the winningest club. But normally, after you've wrapped it up, your manager will give a couple of your key players, 2 or 3 of them the next day night off. Not here because of the Blue Jays battling.
Well, as Joe said when we interviewed him during batting practice, with Toronto and Boston coming in, you really can't let any of your big guys out, because it's not fair to either one of them. You got to play your best players out there and try to do the best job you can.
Inside and low. Now it's ball 2-2-1.
Santiago taking his page out of Joe Girardi's book right there, blocking that ball. Actually, he didn't block it, stuck his glove out and caught it. The ball hit right off home plate.
Santiago, as we mentioned, on the disabled list, and made his first start in 1998 on September the 6th in a car accident in the winter. Banged up the knee. And he banged it up pretty darn bad, and just now coming back to play. There go the runners, and the pitch is swung on and fouled back and out of play. So Joe Torre starting the runners. Down by 3.
Well, pretty good hit and run guy at the plate. Joe Girardi has hit and run many times this season. That time he got a high fastball. You see he's a little disgusted with himself. Thought that he should have done a little more with that pitch than what he did. But it's better fouling him off than swing and miss.
Hey, when you are already the champions and you've got 102 wins underneath your belt, you can try a few little things. May catch the infielders out of position. Oh, what a pitch on the outside corner as Girardi is gone. Now Hinkins striking on Girardi. 2 men out.
The problem with being a catcher is you can't complain a whole lot with a pitcher's pitch. And this is a slider or cut fastball outside. And that's one of those nasty, nasty pitches that Joe's just got to said, okay, Richie Garcia, the home plate umpire, you gave Pat Hinkin that. Make sure that you give my guy the same pitch.
It's so nasty that you almost have to have a 10-foot pole to reach it.
Well, now, yeah, you're right.
Knobloch will step in for the second time. He doubled off the wall his first time up. That's way up high.
That ball was just one of those pitches that Hinkin threw saying, hey, Chuck, don't be looking out on home plate trying to hit the ball to right field like you did the first time up. And that was just a straighten him up pitch.
Nothing new for Knobloch. He'll take one for the team. Yankees have a lot of guys that can score some runs, along with Jeter leading the American League in runs scored. Knobloch with 107 himself. So, man, if you're a third, fourth, or fifth place hitter in this lineup, you got 2 guys with those kind of runs. You know they're on base a lot. That'll be out of play, and it's a 1-ball, 2-strike count. And all you ask as a third place hitter or a cleanup hitter or a fifth place hitter, get those guys on in front of me. It makes me a better hitter. Give me a chance to drive them in.
If you can recall, Sal Bando drove in over 100 runs with the A's back in the early 70s and hit like 239. And what it was, Campaneris and Dick Green and those guys were getting on base, moving over. Bando get a little ground ball out, fly out, drives runs in.
A little blooper out into center field and will fall in front of Cruz. Around third is Leday, and he will come on to score, and it's 5-3 Toronto. A 2-out base hit by Knobloch. Knobloch now 2 for 2.
That did not sound very pretty. That was an inside fastball. Chuck, the reason I say it didn't sound very pretty, Chuck got jammed on it big time. And Cruz came in. I think he had a little better chance on that ball. He forgot maybe that he was on natural grass and not the AstroTurf at Sky Dome, where you've got to lay back on that ball. But he kind of laid back to play it on the bounce. Knobloch takes the base hit and RBI.
Jeter, who grounded out in the first. The Yankees have been so good all year long at driving in runs, but 2 men out and getting those key hits at the right time.
I don't think you'll see Derek Jeter. You see him motion right there. He get up, got to get down, got to use my hands more. You will not see him take the same swing this at bat that he did the first time.
Good fastball swung on, and 0-2 now to Jeter.
And this is a typical Pat Hinkin fastball in the upper part of the plate, or upper part of the strike zone right over the plate. And then that's where he pitches from the belt to the letters.
Waste pitch outside. Now it's 1-2. Well, what is the potential of Derek Jeter as he looks at Brocious at second and Knobloch at first? He's got 19 home runs. That's the most he's ever hit in his career. 77 RBIs. That's the most. As he continues to develop and mature. This is his third postseason year. He was on the World Series championship in 1996. Rookie of the Year. And he's not even close to reaching his potential. How would you like to have some stock in him?
That's where you buy low and sell high.
Yeah.
His stock market would be over 10,000.
Yeah, I know. With a lot of other people around, and got that $1 million smile and very marketable. And he will strike out here, chasing a high fastball. The Yankees do come back with 1 run in the bottom of the second. It's 5-3 Toronto. And Ansky. How about that? Ansky means Yanks when you put it in the proper sequence. See how smart I am? Isn't that unbelievable? I figured that out on my own. You know, like I'm a Scrabble player of some sort.
That's what an Oklahoma education will do for you.
Thanks a lot. All right, I got you on your home run, Dio, so now you're going to get back at me, right?
Oh, no.
Yeah, you are.
No.
Jose Cruz Jr. leads it off for the Blue Jays here in the third. He is 0 for 1. The Blue Jays came up with 5 runs in the second. That's the breaking ball. Now it's 0-2. He's allowed 5 earned runs in each of the last 5 starts. The last start was only 2 innings. And a good pitch there, striking out Cruz. He didn't like the call. So 3 pitches and a strikeout for Pettit to lead off here in the third.
Well, you remember the ball that they called Joe Girardi out? Joe Girardi didn't say anything, went right back to the dugout. Pitcher's pitch right there. You didn't need a 10-foot pole. Just got to get your thumbs roasted if you swung at it.
Like a pretty good pitch to me. And Pettit thought so too. Tony Fernandez brings his 11-game hitting streak with an 0 for 1 here in the third. That's a strike with a breaking ball.
Good first pitch for Andy Pettit. That curve ball, if you watch David Wells throws a lot of first pitch curve balls, and that's a good pitch for Andy. But Bobby, with the pennant clinched and everything, and Andy Pettit struggling here on the mound, you got to get him back on track. You got to get him the way Andy Pettit can pitch. You just put the ball and chain and the stake out there, and you stake him out there and say, Andy, you know, you're going to go 6-7 innings, pitch until you get yourself right. And if he gives up 6-8 runs, 10 runs, he gives them up. But you got to get this young man back and going again.
Now he's fallen behind 3-1, which he has been doing a lot. His control has been off. He has pitched way behind a lot of batters and not in front. That's sliced but fouled out of right field line. Well, Torrey and Stottlemyre, they have to be concerned not only with Pettit, the way he has pitched the last 4 or 5 times out. Rabu, who pitches tomorrow, he will face off against Roger Clemens. He's trying to get himself back on track. El Duque Orlando Hernandez has struggled a bit. A little tapper foul, and of course you know as well as everybody else, especially Joe Torre and Stottlemyre, if you go into a short game divisional series, pitching is what will win for you. And when you get in the playoffs, basically if you got the strong pitching, you've got the upper hand. They've got Wells and they got David Cone. What a job they did up at Boston. Wells didn't win his ball game, but David Cone matching up against Pedro Martinez. What a pitching duel that was.
Bobby, if you just recall all the teams that you played on, and even back in the '96 Yankee team, they won because of pitching, starting pitching, but out of the bullpen. A short series, like you said, is dominated by pitching.
Well, a one-out walk to Fernandez. Third walk given up by Pettit. That'll bring up Santiago.
Last time up, Santiago got the ball up about belt high and out on the plate for a base hit. Don't do anything different. Just lower your sights and throw the ball down a little bit, but keep it away, and you'll get a nice little 6-4-3.
Up high to Santiago. He had a heck of a year with Philadelphia back in 1996, hitting 30 home runs, and then tried the free agent market. And so Toronto liked what they saw in him. They knew that they were going to have a pretty good pitching staff and a young pitching staff, and they needed a guy like Santiago to be their receiver. And then he hurt himself with a car accident to start '98 off, and he's just now working his way back in the lineup.
You don't know, Bobby, how important it is to have a Joe Girardi back at the plate, or a Santiago, or a Carlton Fisk, or a Thurman Munson. Guys that know how to catch, and they can do some stuff with the bat. They don't have to be awesome hitters, but what they do to help those pitchers, it's invaluable.
Santiago from Ponce, Puerto Rico, 33 years old. He will go into some of those terrible hitting slumps, and you almost have to give him 2 or 3 days, rest to get him back on track again. But heck of a receiver, as you mentioned. Guzman coming back now. I mean, his arm is sound, and he's back throwing bullets for Toronto. Of course, everybody knows about the Rocket, Roger Clemens, to go along with Williams, and that's going to be another hit for Santiago. Quickly over is Leday. He will hold Fernandez at second. After the strikeout, a walk, now a base hit, and 2 men on for Toronto. So Pettit in trouble again.
This is another cutter inside that doesn't quite get in there, and Santiago got the head of the bat out. Well, what a job Ricky Leday does. Come over and cut that ball off. For a rookie, he plays left field extremely well. Look at this ball. Look at him right on that. There's a hitting coach down at Oklahoma State, or was, Gary Ward, that teaches. You saw how he was just firmed up on that front side. Teaches that you hit with a soft front side, with a bent front knee. And I've never seen a golfer do that. I've never seen a tennis player do that. I've never seen a baseball player do that. That was perfect. Looked like Bobby Mercer from the right side.
Well, Grayback will step in. He had a base hit his first time up. Toronto now with 7 hits, and we're only 1 out here in the third.
That pitch right there, Bobby, that's the one that is just missing. If Andy's about 3 or 4 inches more towards home plate, that's a strike all night long, and Richie Garcia will call it.
Breaking ball this time in there for a called strike. Well, Pettit has just missed a lot of times with pitches. Could that be what about changing position on the mound, changing your foot position there? I'm just throwing things out. I don't know a thing about pitching.
Yeah, but you knew how to hit them, though.
Only if they threw it right down the middle. That's outside for a ball, 2-1. All right, but you talk to Stottlemyre, you talk to Torrey, they say there's nothing wrong with him physically. It may be mentally that he's challenging himself now and having a little problem with.
When I would have trouble on the mound throwing strikes, I would move on the rubber someplace where I never pitched from before, just to kind of have something different happen.
Just missing outside, and it's ball 3-3-1. Those three pitches have just missed outside.
They've just been right there, and Bobby, it's kind of like you're putting poorly, and you go get the ugliest putter you can get, and you play with that 3 or 4 rounds, and then you go back to stroking the ball well again. It's just a mental thing. You heard Joe say it. Sometimes your mind leads your body, and I think that's what's happened to Andy right now.
Runners hold, and it's lined right to Martinez, and he'll put the tag on Santiago. So a good defensive play by the Yankees saves another run. But the Yankees are behind by 2. It's 5-3 Toronto. Back at the stadium, bottom of the 3rd inning, Paul O'Neill coming to the plate. But what did Paul O'Neill do as we flash back to the 1st inning? Oh, the beautiful sound of a 2-run home run as the bleacher creatures, they love it, as the Yankees took a 2-0 lead. But as O'Neill comes to bat here in the 3rd, Yankees are behind now by 2 as he fouls that first pitch back and out of play. Two guys, unlike Yankee hitters in the past, talking about from the left side, Tino Martinez and Paul O'Neill. Most of the Yankee hitters from the left side before them, power hitters, they like the ball down and in.
Right.
These guys like the ball up and out over the plate.
Paul O'Neill, if you throw him away down, he'll hit the ball to left field. If you throw him up and away, he'll hook it and hit it into right field.
Well, he goes the opposite way this time for a base hit, so at least Hentgen kept him in the ballpark. So a leadoff base hit for O'Neill. Well, this could be a slugfest tonight. There's 13 hits already in the game. We're only in the bottom of the 3rd.
You see, that ball had a lot of home plate, and it was just about belt high or slightly above. And you don't throw that to Paul O'Neill, like Bobby said. Good high ball hitter. And Bernie Williams, a good any ball hitter.
Williams flying out to center field his first time up. Maybe he will try to take advantage of that big hole between 1st and 2nd. Up high for a ball.
Bobby, what happens to pitchers when you think you have good stuff and you're throwing the ball and they're hitting it? You try and throw it harder, or you try and throw it microscopically to a better position on the plate, and you end up throwing it less.
That's back up the middle off the glove of Hentgen. He will get the lead run. So 1 gone. If he comes up with it cleanly, they may turn it into a double play. But just to knock it down and throw a man out, that's a pretty good job.
It's a good job, but he gets squared up. You see how his body's right there? His glove was down, and then Bernie hit the ball hard, and he was fortunate that the ball hit his glove. And then after it hit it, it just fell just in back of him. Right on the rubber. Makes a good throw. Gonzalez did a good job of getting out of the sliding Paul O'Neill.
All right, we'll see what Tino can do. He flied out to left field his first time up. He goes to the right side and takes advantage of that big hole. Base hit for Martinez. Bernie on his way to 3rd, and he will make it. So runners now at 1st and 3rd, and only 1 out for New York and Strawberry.
Bernie read the ball real good. Just boom, right there. The ball wasn't anywhere close to him. A lot of times the runner at first base has to slow up because the ball is in a chance of hitting him. That time the ball was nowhere near Bernie, and he could run at full speed right from the time the ball hit Martinez's bat.
So that's just clear instinct on the base pass to be able to go from 1st to 3rd like that. You get a good read at it as it's going out into right field. You time yourself around 2nd. Nothing that the coach can do for you. Strawberry, who flied out to the shortstop his first time up, will get a chance to hit with a couple of men on. The straw man with 24 home runs and 56 RBI. And they will try a little bit of a trick. And they darn near tricked Tito a little bit at first base.
Last time that play worked, my hair wasn't gray.
High and deep into right field. It may not be deep enough, though. Deep enough to score. Oh, they let the ball fall in front of them. They miscommunicated in the outfield. Bernie will come on to score, and it's 5-4 Toronto. What a break for the Yankees. Green came over, Cruz came over, and nobody could come up with it. They just miscommunicated.
Bobby, that was one of those Cruz looked like he was calling for the ball, and then you could see Green started to back up. And nobody could go anyplace on that play because Tino had to respect that the fly ball, and that was a very catchable fly ball.
And Ricky Leday with a good swing, fouling that one, backing out of play. Well, that's a gift. And Strawberry will take it, and so will the Yankees.
Bobby, you said something a little earlier before Strawberry got that hit. When you were running bases, did you use your coaches much, or did you just know where the outfielders were and then use your speed and where you could go?
I used mostly my own instincts on where I could go and how far I could go. Willie at third base and Jose Cardinal at first base. Up high for a ball, 2-1.
In the National League, we used to get base running sessions from Maury Wills every spring, maybe 3 or 4 times as pitchers, because pitchers had to hit, and Mel Queen and Timmy Johnson looking on. But how to run bases, what to do, how to look, and the first thing Maury said, when you get the first base, if you're a pitcher or whatever, look, see where your outfielders are, and then if you know where they are when the ball's hit, you can know if they've got to run left or right to the ball, and then you can run better.
And you also have to know what kind of arm they have and what kind of flexibility and speed they have in the outfield in order to get to the ball. Up high, ball 3-2 with only 1 out.
Hinkin's got to be thinking, why me? Why me? I don't have my best stuff. I give up a fly ball, a sure out, and here I'm in trouble. 3-2.
Well, it looks like this game is going to be whoever gets the last hit is going to win it. And that's going to be trouble down the left field line. Stewart with a chase, and it'll fall in front of him. Up against the wall. Martinez will come around to score the tying run. It goes into the stand. It becomes a ground rule double, and Ricky Leday is 2 for 2. Well, the Yankees, they just continue to come back at you and fight and claw and get base hit.
3-2, Ricky Leday. That's a good pitch. Shannon Stewart made a good effort, and that ball hit. You could see the spin on the ball. When the ball hit the warning track, it bounced almost 90 degrees right into the stand.
So pretty good performance by Leday and the Yankees as Johnson looks on in his first year as the skipper of the Blue Jays. And it's 5-5, and it's up to Brocious with 1 out to put the Yankees ahead. Yankees now with 8 base hits. Check that. That's 9 base hits versus Toronto's 7. And I want to tell you that we are in the 3rd inning. And only 1 out in the 3rd. Now it's 1-1 to Brocious.
One of the things Tim Johnson tried to tell his players, here you're coming in, you're in a pennant race, you're in a wild card race, you're in New York. You're in Yankee Stadium. This is fun, guys. Go out there and play like it's fun. Now, you can't be having a lot of fun giving up 9 hits, but, you know, that's what you have to get across to your young players, Bobby, because you can't come out here in this stadium playing the division winners and going, and you're all clutched up.
2 balls and a strike to Brocious. Line into right field. What a play by Green. A diving catch. Strawberry will tag. Come on, and he will score. Good play by Strawberry. The Yankees will take a 6-5 lead. Now that's a heads-up play by tagging up at third on that great play by Green in the outfield and beating the throw. You got to time that perfect.
Bobby, you were saying that you go on instinct, and that's exactly what Darryl Strawberry did right there. Brocious hit the ball just to let that little inside-out swing he's got, and what a play by Shawn Green. Not only can he hit, but he can field, and a good arm, and he makes a good throw, and you see Darryl right there, boom, a good stand-up slide, has just got his foot in. But with Darryl Strawberry, that's just instinctive baseball.
And Green up with the assist leaders in the outfield. He's got 13 in right field. As Girardi takes the ball down low. Yankees now 6 and the Blue Jays 5. You would never know that the Yankees had clinched the American League Eastern Division. There has never been any let up in this ball club from day one, and there won't be any let up in the ball club when the season is over with. Almanzar and Dave Steve now warming up for Toronto. That's right, Dave Steve. He is back. Good pitch, swung on and missed. Strike 1, 2, and 1.
And I'll tell you, there's another ball club doing a little scoreboard watching tonight. The ball club from the Finns. I guarantee you they're looking, and when they saw that 5 spot come up, Blue Jays, oh no. And this might be the only time they're cheering for the Yankees in their history.
It's a little like whisper cheer, but it's a cheer, you know. Well, we're talking about the wild card. Let's take a look at it. Toronto and Texas 4.5 games back of Boston now. So the guys up at Beantown, they can hear those footsteps right behind them. About 7, 8, 9 days ago, they had an 8 or 9 game lead in the wild card. Hit into center field. Cruz on the run. He's got his back to it, and it's over his head. Ledet comes around to score, and it's a 2-out double by Girardi, and the Yankees will take a 7-5 lead. They cease to amaze me.
You would not think Joe Girardi would have this kind of pop in his bat. You see that slider? That's a pretty good pitch right there. And Cruz was going after the ball. He kind of misran right there. He was running one way, and the ball was slicing back to center field. You see him there running a little circle route. Joe Girardi hit that ball a long way to be a slider down and on the outside part of the plate.
That play there may show that immaturity of Jose Cruz Jr. in center field. And that's strike 1 and Oblak. Oblak 2 for 2 tonight with an RBI and a run scored. The Yankees with 10 base hits and 7 runs, and Knobloch was going downtown on that one. He just forgot to put the token in.
Boy, Hinkin could have been out of this thing with the fly ball to center field between Cruz and Green. How costly was that?
Well, it's cost him 3 runs. Be out of play, and Knobloch may have hurt himself. He swung, fouled the ball back and out of play, and then dropped the bat immediately and grabbed his left wrist. Now here comes Gene Monahan and Joe Torre. Bean Palmer of the Texas Rangers one time took a swing, a mighty cut, in Torre's right bicep. They was out almost a year.
We were doing the game that night. They were playing the Twins. We saw the swing, but who was it earlier this year that swung the bat and hurt his wrist? Ken Griffey Jr. about a year or two ago took the check swing and hurt his wrist. This is what, boy, you don't want to see that here.
Well, you can see that Knobloch holds the bat very lightly in his hands, and that swing there somehow twisted his wrist or sprained his wrist with that full swing. Now he talked to, you can see him holding the left wrist there. He talked a long time to Monahan and a long time to Joe Torre. They didn't do anything to it, and Knobloch appears to be all right. Now we won't know until he takes another swing on whether he really is all right or not.
Well, the thing about it, Chuck doesn't want to come out. But then, too, you got 19 games left until the real season starts.
Again, the second season.
The second season. You got that right.
And that pitch is fouled off of Santiago this time, so Santiago takes the brunt of that foul.
If you've got a good fastball, and Bobby Hinken does, you see Chuck holding that right thumb off. Now he tightens it up. If you got somebody that hurt their wrist and they come back, unless they're fooling you, you want to come back with a hard fastball inside and force them to get that bat around.
I can tell you with that swing right there, he's all right. If his wrist was hurting him real bad, he wouldn't be able to swing the bat like that. So that's a good sign. Still 1-2 on Knobloch with 2 outs.
Hinken doesn't have good command tonight either. You see Santiago right there was moving inside, and Hinken threw the ball up and away. Santiago knows that you want to try to pound Chuck Knobloch inside. You see him looking at him right there. Catchers also study feet. How you stand in the batter's box from at bat to bat and to pitch.
Outside, and it's ball 3, 3-2. Yankee hitters are very patient at the plate. They won't help you out. Up high, ball 4. So Knobloch works him for a walk. And now there's 2 men on for New York, and they've batted around. Well, the Blue Jays pitching in the American League as a rank at this particular time.
Well, they're third in the league in ERA. Next to the Yankees are first. So you've got 2 of the 3 best pitching staffs in the American League. And that man right there, Mel Queen, is one of the reasons for it. Veteran pitching coach. Been around a long time, seen a lot of things.
Well, with Derek Jeter coming to the plate, he is 0 for 2. The Yankees have now batted around 32 times here in 1998. So Jeter becomes the 9th hitter in this inning. Jeter already 0 for 2, and he's just in the 3rd inning. It's not good for the batting average. Down low for a ball.
Especially you get in those extra inning ball games and go like 0 for 7. You can have a little something good going.
That's something Jeter does not want to do, being second in the American League batting race to Williams. Hinkin has already thrown a lot of pitches like Pettit. That's the breaking ball down low. Now it's 2 balls and a strike to Jeter.
That's the first curveball that Pat Hinkin has thrown tonight. He's been going with the slider, kind of like Andy Pettit goes with his cutter a lot. He's got a good breaking ball, and that was it right there. Unfortunately, if you only throw it once every 3 innings, you don't have good command of it.
At home plate. Well, the 2 home runs last night and 118 runs scored. Celebration in Boston. Bernie battling Jeter. Last time the Yankees saw the battle in the batting race was Mattingly and Winfield, and it came down to the last day. Down low, ball 3, 3 and 2.
This might be Pat Hinkin's last batter. If he doesn't make a good pitch here, you know, he's a good pitcher, but you can't let the game get out of hand with your ace out there scuffling around on the mound. And with Paul O'Neill coming to the plate.
68 pitches now for Hinkin. That's a little over 20 per inning. Is that good or bad?
If you were Tommy John, that was excellent. If you were Pat Hinkin, that's not very good.
If you were Tommy John, you'd be settling down out of that sinker ball and really be sinking, right?
Yeah. I tell you, Bobby, if they had pitch counts when I first came up into baseball, I could never have pitched.
Here goes the runners, and the pitch is bounced right back to Hinkin. So Jeter now 0 for 3, but the Yankees bat around. They come up with 4 here in the bottom of the 3rd. Some sloppy play by the Blue Jays, and they open the gates up for the Yankees. 7-5 New York. Take a look at this. This really helped the Yankees out and hurt Pat Hinkin. I got it, I got it, I got it. You take it. One of those type of deals.
Sean Green was going back, and this is what you have to do. Okay, you have a young ball club. Sean Green's young, Cruz is young. You get the guys down there, you explain what's going to happen, and you don't want that to happen again.
So the Blue Jays will have to try to battle back again as Gonzalez, the 9th place hitter, leads it off here in the 4th. So Andy Pettit with his 2nd reprieve of the game, and he's got a 2-run lead.
You know, you can take a mistake like that, and if something positive comes out of it, it's not that bad. But you tell that to Pat Hinkin right now, and he may bite your head off. Like the Tasmanian devil.
It's the end of the year, and we don't have much time left. A little tapper back to Pettit. So Gonzalez is gone, and that'll bring up Shannon Stewart. Tasmanian devil, huh?
Good pitch right here by Andy Pettit. Sinker away. That's what he's been trying to get over the plate and has not been fortunate enough to throw it for a strike. We'll see if he can tighten the lid on his cap right now and get back to pitching like Andy Pettit.
All right, Shannon Stewart, who's officially 1 for 1. He's walked, had a base hit up the middle, produced an RBI and came around to score in the second when the Blue Jays scored 5 off of Pettit. Outside for a ball. Now it's 1-1. Different style for Pettit pitching in the last, I would say, 4 times out maybe. Using a lot more off-speed stuff. When he started the year, that's outside for ball 3. When he started the year, it was about 70% cutters, 30% fastballs.
Bobby, and to me, that should be just flip-flop. You should have about 70% fastballs because that's the pitch that is the best pitch in baseball.
Tough play for Jeter, but he makes it easy. Stewart can pick him up and lay him down, and Jeter with a nice play at short.
And watch this. A tough play, maybe for some shortstops, but we get to see Derek Jeter do this all the time. That's just a ho-hum routine play.
Yeah, really.
Shannon Stewart, a good fastball away. And the reason I say 70-30 fastballs, the reason his cutter is good is because he had a good fastball, or has a good fastball. And the batters have to respect it. But when you start throwing cutter, you almost turn yourself into a Jim Abbott type, where it's just, if it's not powered.
That's Sean Green, and he pulls it foul.
And right here, Sean Green, throw him away. Throw him away. Fastballs, not cutters, away. Then when you throw the cutter to the outside part of the plate, he's got to take a swing at it if it's just barely on.
Green is 6'4", kind of a lean guy, about 190 pounds, 6'4", 190. But still developing at only 25 years of age. He swings and misses at that one. And it's 2 balls and 2 strikes to Green with 2 men out. But boy, he's got that short, compact swing. And when he makes contact, the ball just jumps off his bat. That'll get away from Girardi, and the count goes to 3-2. Green has also played many outfield positions. He plays all 3, as a matter of fact, right, left, and center. But Johnson thinks that he is his best right fielder with that arm that he has out there, and I agree. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Girardi hangs on to it, so Pettit has his easiest inning of this game, and the Yankees lead it 7-5.
What can you say about Dave Stieb? Went down to spring training, kind of like Catfish and Guidry and all those guys do. Go down there, throw a little batting practice, be a guest instructor. Threw the ball so well, he said, hey, you know, guys, I'd like a chance maybe to try to come back. And come back he did. He's in the big leagues, 1-1. I know he pitched very, very well with the Syracuse Sky Chiefs.
Well, his last appearance for the Blue Jays after having a great career for them, he retired, was in August of 1992 before 98. So I guess he has heard all the broadcasters, all the radio broadcasters, everybody talking about the pitching in baseball today as Paul O'Neill fouls that pitch back out of play. And even though he's 40 plus, he said, well, you know, if they are right, maybe I'll try a comeback. I feel pretty darn good. And guess what? Here he is.
If his stuff is as nasty or half as nasty as it used to be.
Well, not on that pitch there. O'Neill will go deep for the second time of the game into the upper tank. And the Yankees will take an 8-5 lead. And O'Neill now has hit 4 home runs in the last 2 days. 2 last night and 2 in this game. And we're just in the 4th inning.
This is what Dave Stieb used to have, was that biting slider that would get down and in and just roast your knuckles. And he kind of hung that pitch, and we'll see it coming up on the replay. Boy, Paul O'Neill hit that in the upper deck. Whew.
So Paul now with 3 RBIs, 2 home runs, and 3 base hits. Breaking ball swung on and missed. Let's take another look at it. Can we hear the sound on this one?
That ball didn't have any downward bite to it. That was just kind of a flat slider on the inside part of the plate, and that's where hangers are deposited. That's the bank depository up there. It just made a deposit.
Remember, I said earlier in the game that these left-handed hitters, O'Neill, Martinez, they like the ball out on the plate. They're not like the traditional left-handed hitters here at Yankee Stadium. I take that back on that pitch. They like it low and in. I take it back. I didn't say it, ladies and gentlemen. Ooh, that's the sound again. O'Neill loves to play the drums, and so he knows what the sound is when he hits the right beat on that drum. Kind of like when you're knocking on the door of Dulio's head. That'll be pulled foul off to the right side. Hey, while we got some time, I want to wish Jerry Cassell a happy birthday. Jerry Cassell used to pitch for the Boston Red Sox and also the Detroit Tigers. Has a restaurant here in New York City at Pino's Restaurant on 34th Street. He also gave up the 24th home run to Roger Maris back in 1961.
What's Jerry, about 72 now?
You mean inches around? No, I'm just kidding. No, I tell you what, he's got a fabulous restaurant. Great guy. Jerry Cassell at Pino's Restaurant. Roger Maris. I tell you what, you can say what you want, but Bart McGuire bested Roger with 62, but for the first time, everything that was said about Roger Maris during this home run chase was all positive. Yes. And the family was there. It was just a fabulous event. It's one of those memorable events that you will remember for the rest of your life. It wasn't all positive when Roger hit 61 back in 1961. Back up the middle off the glove of Steve. Almost took his head off. And quickly recovering it is Gonzalez to throw out Bertie. So one gone.
That ball goes 1-6-3, and you see Dave Stieb seeing if his glove's still intact. Watch this ball. That's hunting the hat, the head. Boy, and Steve ducks that and throws his hand up. He was fortunate that he fended the ball off and deflected it to the shortstop. If he doesn't get his hand up there, Bobby, that's got him right in the coconut.
Yeah.
Right in the head.
That's the nightmare ball that goes back up the middle. That all pitchers dream about, and it's a bad dream.
Yeah, that's one of the reasons the old left-hander left the game right there. Too many of those came back, and you couldn't defend yourself.
Well hit into center field, and moving back is Cruz to make the catch. It is 2 gone for New York. Do you remember Jerry Cassell? Were you pitching when Jerry was pitching back in the 60s?
Yes, I remember the name. Yes, I do.
Yeah, big guy, you know, and I think he threw the ball pretty hard.
Well, Boston had a bunch of those guys back in that era. Raditz.
Yeah, but he talks about Dick Raditz a lot.
Yep. And
of course, Jerry Cassell was from Brooklyn, New York. Tell you what, they can cook up some pretty good Italian food down at Pino's, though. As Darryl Strawberry steps in. Darryl is 1 for 2.
Dave Stieb is throwing 2 nasty pitches at Darryl Strawberry. Backdoor slider 1, backdoor slider 2. See if he goes away with a fastball here to try to make Darryl bite or come inside.
Whoa. Darryl got underneath it, and it is a towering fly ball in the infield with some tremendous hang time, but Gonzalez finally comes up with it. Paul O'Neill with his second home run, and the Yankees lead at 8-5. Boy, the Yankee fans are happy. The Yankees lead at 8-5 over Toronto here in the 5th inning, but come on down to the stadium and cheer on the 1998 American League Eastern champions as they continue their series against the Blue Jays tomorrow at 7:30, and then Saturday, September the 12th at 4 o'clock, and then finally Sunday the series will end at 1:30. Jose Canseco leads it off for Toronto here in the 5th inning. He had a towering 3-run shot back in the 2nd when Toronto scored 5. David Wells having a good time and a great year to go along with it.
Do you think David Wells had a good time last night throwing that champagne and stuff around in the clubhouse?
You know, I loved his quote. He said, "I'm so glad we clinched it up at Fenway in this clubhouse. Now they'll have to live with the stench the rest of the year on that champagne shower that they gave the clubhouse." He said, "We didn't have to smell our clubhouse up with that champagne." He said, "We did it in the perfect spot." And he's right. But that stuff lingers for a long time. Absolutely. Everybody knew it was going to happen. And they become the fastest team to clinch the American League divisional title since they started divisional play in 1969. 3-1 now to Canseco. I was talking about the rest of this the Toronto Blue Jays series. On Saturday, the 12th, all fans will receive a pair of Yankee sunglasses, compliments of Bell Atlantic Mobile. And we can certainly use some sunglasses here. I've lost mine, so I'll be here Saturday, and I'll be looking for my sunglasses. You come on down and pick up a pair of sunglasses, too. And Canseco is going to ground out to Jeter.
Andy Pettitte is starting to throw the ball to the outside part of the plate, starting to use that good fastball away. And that's the way I remember Andy Pettitte pitching in the minor leagues and even up here in earlier in the year. You see, look at that shaking, big Boomer shaking his head. Almost got it, Jose. Almost got it.
Every DH always goes back after they make an out or get a hit, and they like to talk about it, tell everybody up and down that bench how they did it or how they didn't do it or how they just missed it as Delgado swings through one. Of course, that's all the designated hitter has to do once he makes the out. What else is he going to do? He's got to have somebody he can talk to, because he's got to abide his time until the next at bat. I don't know who Jose is talking to there. It doesn't look like anybody's listening to him. At Grayback, oh, is it? Yeah, he finally acknowledged him. I think Jose is saying, you know, I got the same pitch as I hit the 3-run home run. Whoa, what? Look at that. You talk about somebody getting around on a fastball inside. Delgado pulls a liner right over the Yankee dugout into the stands. Wow, boy, is that dangerous.
Kind of tells you Delgado doesn't want to get jammed inside. Now you throw that fastball in there and he hits it that far foul. Now you can go on the outside part of the plate either with your fastball or breaking ball.
Delgado, the new team captain for the Blue Jays. Now, TJ, when you give up the longest home run in Skydome history to a guy, you remember that, don't you?
Absolutely.
That's the breaking ball on 2-2, and Delgado will foul it out of play. What an adjustment he has made, though. A couple of years ago, he was being platooned. And now here he is. He's an everyday player, and there's no more platoon for him. Kind of like Paul O'Neill. You know, when Paul was with Cincinnati, he couldn't play against left-handed pitching.
Yeah. No, he wasn't allowed to play against left-handed pitching.
That's a better word. You're right about that. And that's down low, ball 3-3-2.
Delgado came up with that big spread in Sports Illustrated, and they were talking about him a possible Rookie of the Year, and did all these things in minor league baseball. And, you know, the longest walk in baseball is from AAA up here. And it's one thing to do well in AAA ball, but you've got to maintain it, because the pitchers that are getting you out in AAA ball, Bobby, are the pitchers that were going to be making the jump up to the big leagues.
Well, the Yankees displaying all of their talent in the minor leagues, and they've got some darn good talent. That'll be pulled out of play too. So the Yankees are able to show what they have down on the farm and are looking to break into this Yankee lineup. Shane Spencer is one of those, and he brings some well-needed right-handed power, along with Ricky Leday, that's playing here tonight. Mike Lowell, the third baseman, is up here, and that's down low and outside, ball 4. So a 1-out walk to Delgado.
The Yankee farm clubs, Bobby, their farm system is really churning out the talent now. I mean, you're talking about Mike Lowell. Mike Lowell was the one that was in that Randy Johnson. And while we have time, we like to congratulate Tampa of the A League down in Florida. They defeated Port Charlotte to sweep the best-of-3 semifinal series. Greensboro Bats lost to Columbia in the best-of-3 championship series. It's tied 1-1. And Oneonta in the Short A League, they were awarded the championship after 3 consecutive rainouts. So there are 3 championship teams that the Yankees have in their minor league system, and these guys are going to filter on up through. We want to say hats off, congratulations to those minor league teams.
And you're already seeing the product of the Yankees minor league, along with Bernie Williams, Derek Jeter, and Girardi now will go out to talk to Pettit as he's run the count to 2-0 on Jose Cruz Jr.
But Bobby, you've been around here long enough that how many times have you seen, though, the Yankees have good teams in the minor leagues and the guys never get up here because they were traded off for veteran ball players? But now they're coming up through the system, and what that tells these young kids that are out there being drafted, hey, if I sign with the Yankees, I've got a chance to get through that system and get up and play for a championship ball club.
That's down low, ball 3, 3-0. So Pettit is working himself into a possible jam here in the 5th inning with a 3-run lead. Ball 4, so back-to-back walks. Toronto now with a couple of men on. That'll bring up Tony Fernandez, and that'll also bring out Mel Stottlemyre.
And Mel's got to be telling him one thing. Hey, look, you've got an 8-5 lead. You're pitching into a good groove, and don't be too fine. You've got good stuff. Don't be picky. And when you try to nip, nibble, all of a sudden the count is in the batter's favor, and then you're up the creek without a paddle.
That's Darren Holmes. And he may be getting loose. And Case Pettit can't work his way out of this jam. Pettit with 3 strikeouts, but it's back-to-back walks here in the 5th inning. His bad inning was the second when he gave up 5 to Toronto. Fernandez will bounce the broaches. Could be a double play. Steps on the bag, throws back to Martinez, and it is a double play. So whatever Stottlemyre told him, he turned it into a double play, and the Yankees lead it 8-5. Who's that? Looks like he's running for president.
It looked like hail to the chief right there, yeah.
Looked like Tom Cruise or something, didn't it?
Straight, looked like he just came down here from New Haven, right out of Yale.
We need to get another good look at that guy. While Ricky Leday steps in here at the bottom of the 5th inning, he is 2 for 2 and having a fine night. A single and a double, 2 runs scored, and a run batted in. And while Leday steps in, I want to wish Greg Dobbs a speedy recovery from open heart surgery at New York Medical Center. As will be popped up into center field. Can of corn for Cruz, and there's one gone.
Ricky Leday hits just a little easy fly ball, but you see him hustling down there. Maybe he thinks deja vu. Maybe he thinks Jose Cruz Jr. might blotch up another one. Good hustle.
Not this time, but you're right. Good hustle as Brocious steps in. Brocious, a base hit, a sacrifice fly, and an RBI. And strike one to Brocious. '85-86 RBIs now for Brocious, hitting in the 7th, 8th, and 9th slot. That's a one hopper to Graybeck, and 2 gone for New York here in the 5th. Well, let's take a look at the Toyota box score, and there's a lot to it for the Yankees. That adds up to be 11 hits, and O'Neill is 3 for 3 with 2 home runs and 3 RBIs. Leday is 2 for 3. Knobloch 2 for 2. And the Yankees lead it 8-5 with 11 base hits.
Dave Steeb's been making some good pitches since he threw that hanger to Paul O'Neill, and they've mainly been on that slider. Steeb, when he broke into pitching, was an outfielder and was a pretty good athlete and had such a good arm. They found out that he didn't hit the ball quite as well as they had hoped, so they brought him into the mound. Strapped the toe plate on him, and the rest is history.
Actually, Steve picked up a save in his last outing against Boston. He pitched a couple of innings against the Red Sox. Toronto swept the Red Sox at Fenway right before the Yankees came to town. And Toronto in New York for this 4-game series before they head off to Cleveland and then Detroit. Upcoming starters tomorrow, we mentioned Hideki Irabu will face off against Clemens. And then Saturday, David Cone will try to win number 20 as he leads the American League in wins. Well, what a job he did up in Boston. That's high and tight.
Would he face 1 over the minimum in his 7 innings? Faced 22 hitters.
Struck out 11. That is indeed a positive sign for the Yankees. This is trouble down the right field corner. Girardi around first. He'll hit for second, and he'll make it. A 2-out double for Joe Girardi. And Girardi is 2 for 3. Now the professor went to school on Dave Steeb.
Those guys from Northwestern, they don't go to that school just to hang around the bookstore. Joe Girardi got a high-hanging slider, and you see why Joe Torre likes to hit and run with him, because he's got that stroke down, hitting the ball to right field. Last time he hit a slider and hit it to left field and got it over Jose Cruz Jr.'s head.
You mentioned Northwestern. Joe Girardi, last time we were in Chicago, which was last weekend, he got a chance to go see that Northwestern football game. That's over the head of Knobloch. So he got a chance to go watch them in their debut here in 1998, and got a chance to watch at least the first half. And Northwestern won their first game.
They scored 40-some points. They've got a big game coming up this weekend against the Dukies.
Joe took a lot of credit for that, too.
I'm sure.
Down low for a ball. Knobloch had been plunked 17 times by opposing pitchers. That's obviously tops in the American League. We'll never guess who's second. That's down low, ball 3.
Give me a clue.
He's a catcher.
Pudge Rodriguez.
And his initials, no, is SF. Sal Fasano.
Sal Fasano?
Yeah. I knew you wanted to know.
Sal Fasano?
Yeah, he's been hit 16 times. On deck is Jeter. High and tight, ball 4. The Yankees will have a couple of men on for Jeter.
Dave, Steve, the arm angle's starting to drop a little bit. You see him is a little upset with himself. He used to have a funny motion. I don't see it as much now as he did when he was younger. He used to throw across his body quite a bit, and then he would spin on his heel to open up his front side. And then he would kind of throw that slider kind of crossfire at you and really made it tough from the right side to stay in on it. And then you saw right there, he could run that fastball up and in on right-handers.
Well, the tough part about Dave, Steve, is he short arms the ball. And so you don't get a good chance to look at it. You don't get a good pickup from it from the batter's box. Jeter is already 0 for 3 in this game, and this is his 4th time to come to the plate. Yeah, you were talking about Steve spinning off on his heel. That's what drives Mike Stanton crazy. Is when he spins off his heel too much. That's up high, ball 1-1-1.
See Dave looking into the bench. Now watch him, has good motion, good leg kick, but you see his front foot when it plants. Before, he would really step across his body, and to get his front side open, he had to open up that front foot.
That's a check swing foul off to the right side. Did that catch our cameraman? That glanced off of one of our camera guys down in the well. Now it's 1-2. G. Genovese got the big G on up on his hat there. Take one for the WB11, Mr. G. Another pitch foul back and out of play.
Steve's having a hard time controlling the fastball inside, and he's getting underneath it. And the ball's going up and in, and he wants to get on top of it and drive it down and in to get the ball sinking more. That's just a flat tail. Trying to throw a slider away here.
So Dave, Steve struggling as Steve Sinclair begins to warm up now for Toronto. About 2 innings is all Johnson will allow Steve to pitch as he swings and misses at that breaking ball. So the Yankees will leave a couple of men on. It's 8-5 New York. Here. Santiago is 2 for 2.
Joe Torre and Mel Stottlemyre would like to see Andy have a real nice inning right here and give him 6 innings of work. And if he does that, I think they will probably go to the bullpen and let Darren Holmes and Jeff Nelson and everybody else take part in the ball game. But Andy has pitched better in the last couple innings than he has in that first.
On the ground to Jeter. One gone. Well, let's take a look at the American League East champions. Starting back in 1976. They won the World Series 76, 77, and 78. I mean, they weren't the World Series champions in 76, 77, 78.
77. Since Cincinnati won the series.
They wanted to be the world champions in 76. So. Grayback takes a call strike.
In that 1980 season was the year that the Yankees won 103 ball games and then ended up losing 3 straight to Kansas City
There's a good off-speed pitch, swung on and missed.
That was the changeup that he's been throwing about 54, 55, 56 feet. That right there was he's just working his way up.
And that was a good one.
Yes, it was. Good arm speed, no ball speed, and Graybeck was way out in front.
Yeah, Graybeck now 0-2 in the count. Another one swung on and missed. Strike 3. Back-to-back changeups and 2 beauties as he strikes out Graybeck.
This was good because Andy Pettit threw a good changeup, backed it up with a good changeup. Hitters will never look for the same pitch like that, especially a changeup followed by a changeup. Maybe a fastball followed by a fastball.
2 gone, and Gonzalez, who struck out 6 times last night, tied a major league record. He's 0 for 2 tonight. Pettit's had 1 easy inning through this 6, and that came in the 4th when the Jays went down 1-2-3. He possibly could have another one. This is well hit into center field, and Bernie will run it down. So good speed by Williams in center, and it's a 1-2-3 inning for Andy Pettit. 8-5 New York. Well, back at the stadium on a beautiful night for baseball. New York leads at 8-5 over Toronto, and Toronto now in with their 3rd pitcher of the game. Steve Sinclair will come in, but let's take a look at a guy that will be leading off in this inning. His name is Paul O'Neill. And let's go all the way back to the 1st inning. Yes, a high hanger. And it becomes Yankees 2 and Toronto nothing. Now in the 4th inning. Yes, upper tank. 2nd home run for Paul O'Neill. His 2nd of the game. And now O'Neill with 23 home runs and 109 runs batted in.
Well, he hit the ball so well. Timmy Johnson is going to bring in a left-hander, Steve Sinclair, to face it.
The Blue Jays only have a couple of left-handers in their bullpen, along with Sinclair as Plesac.
Well, Plesac is the guy that they go to when the game's on the line. But they want to give this youngster a chance to pitch, and you're down 8-5. And the best way to do it is throw him into the fire. Steel only gets hardened when it's heated.
Breaking ball swung on and missed. Now it's 1-2 on O'Neill.
You see Paul talking. He's not talking to himself. He's asking Richie Garcia, was that a strike? And Richie motioned, yes, it is. Paul just wanted to make sure that he was not swinging at a bad pitch.
I never liked that because
you think that they would tell you.
I think they always say, yeah, that would have been a strike, just to make you feel good. Boy, he blows the fastball by him up and in. So as O'Neill strikes out here in the 6th. That ball got on him in a hurry.
Yes, it did. That was a good fastball up and in. And he turns around and asks Richie the same thing. Was it a strike? And that was, no, it wasn't. But that was a good pitcher's pitch.
Sinclair with Syracuse last year. Now Nelson gets up for the Yankees. Nelson, as Joe Torre tries to work him back into good shape at the end of the year to get him ready for the playoffs. Bernie Williams finds the first pitch back and out of play. Bernie 0 for 3 tonight. Jeter 0 for 4 already. That's up high. Well, the one thing, this is one of the reasons that I think Joe Torre said if you had to give somebody an edge in this batting race, probably would give it to Bernie because of his switch hitting abilities. He said, take it from me, it's a lot easier to have that ball breaking into you than away from you. I don't have to take it from him, I know. And you're right. Boy, I'll tell you what, to have the advantage to turn around and hit right-handed when there's a left-hander out there. For Jeter, nothing but a right-handed hitter. He could be 0 for 4, but you couldn't tell it. He loves to play baseball. He has a lot of fun doing it.
If you go down the street, Bobby, and watch little kids play ball, the kids are out there 8, 9, 10 years old, but they're out there playing, they're having fun. You're at this level, it's a job, but it's still the game that you played when you were 8, 9, 10 years old, and you have fun.
A lot of guys waiting to be called upon on both benches, just in case Johnson or Torrey needs them. A 1-out walk to Williams. That'll bring up Tino Martinez. Yankees lead at 8-5. Now, for some reason or another, Sinclair has lost the strike zone. Yankees looking to win their 103rd game of the year against 41 losses. There's the breaking ball in for a call strike. The Yankees have been in first place 141 consecutive days. That's coming into this game. That's pretty good domination, I would say. That's the breaking ball. Now it's 2-1. Sinclair was the 74th overall selection. That is hit hard. Delgado knocks it down. He'll go to force the runner at second and does it. Well, Bernie is gone, and there's 2 outs here in the 6th.
Watch how hard this ball's hit. Delgado's in perfect fielding position. The ball got down on him, handcuffed him, and made a good play to get the lead runner in Bernie Williams. The reason that play was tough, he's throwing the ball right over Bernie's shoulder. And Gonzalez, the shortstop, has really got to be concentrating on the ball because it can come out of that runner and all of a sudden it's on you.
Well, we've got a pinch hitter now for Strawberry as Chili Davis comes in, and Chili is batting only from the right side for New York at this present time as he continues to try to heal that other side that got some pull muscle in it, so he's not able to bat from the left side, but he swings a pretty potent bat from the right side. So Strawberry and him kind of alternating back and forth. Chili with a couple of home runs and 7 RBI. And like Santiago for the Blue Jays, Chili on the disabled list almost all of 1998. But he's getting back to the team at the right time.
Just give you one more bullet in your gun.
No,
that's what it does.
Ever. That'll be out of play as the Yankee fans try to wave here at the stadium. And while they're doing that, I want to wish a happy 46th anniversary to Lynn and Lorraine Chalizzi. 46 wonderful years. Mom and Pop of Anthony Chalizzi. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Sinclair strikes out a couple of men here in the 6th. The Yankees leave a man on. 8-5 New York.
Jeff Nelson. Boy, what a relief, and no pun intended right here, to get this big guy back. It's only his 38th game, but the big thing Joe Torre and Mel Stottlemyre want is, how do you come back from pitching 1, 2, 3 days in a row? Will your back stiffen up? And what they've seen so far, they're very, very, very happy with Nelson and Holmes' return.
Well, it's time to get Nelson in shape. And Nelson missed 65 days already this year. So he's making his 3rd appearance after returning from the disabled list. And he will face the top of the order: Shannon Stewart, Sean Green, and Jose Canseco. A big missing piece of the puzzle for Joe Torre in that bullpen, as Nelson and Stanton used to work him over and then turn it over to Rivera. Now he wants to get back into that same, 1, 2, 3 punch that he has. Make sure they're all healthy and that Nelson is stable and will be ready for the playoffs. Was that a call strike? I guess it was. 0-2 now to Stewart. As we take a look at the box score for Toronto, they have 5 runs on 7 base hits, and Stewart is 1 for 2. Nelly is extremely hard to pick up from the right side as he comes by the way of third base. And the big Aussie gets up, Graham Lloyd. Another big part of the pitcher for the Yankees in the bullpen. And just missing outside on that one. Now it's 2-2.
That was good pitch, good location. The only problem, that didn't get the good call. That was a locker. They locked the batter up right there. Slider, 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 and then you lock him up with the fastball.
And the breaking ball, foul back and out of play. Well, those old herniated discs, those things can be so painful. And anytime you've had any problems with your back or pain in your back, it just affects the whole body. You just can't move. And the Yankee doctors and trainers have done an excellent job rehabbing Jeff Nelson along with him, and hard work to get himself back to this position. And the breaking ball is on the outside corner, strike 3. So Stewart is gone.
And like you said, Bobby, he's so hard to pick up. He's big. He pitches from the third base side of the rubber. And dropping down, that was just a breaking ball that started on the inside corner and stayed on the plate all the way.
Well, what do you do? I mean, you're bailing out and the ball's going away from you. How do you hit it?
The only way you hit Jeff Nelson is if he makes a mistake and hangs something on the inside part, and that hits you right in the bail.
Well, Sean Green will step in. He's 2 for 3. Well, really the only way you can hit Nelson from the right side is that you take a couple of big guy wires up there with you and you attach them to both of your feet and you nail them down so that you can't bail out and you can hang in there and take your chances that way.
You're going to laugh at this one.
That one will not be laughed at by Sean Green.
If memory serves me correct, Sean Green was hit up in Toronto by Mike Buddy. And that's when Tony Phillips went ballistic. And there was nothing wrong with that. That was just a fastball that looked like that was actually a slider. I saw a little black dot on it. But I had a son, Travis, that had a tough time keeping that front leg in. So I put cuff weights on his leg. I put 20 pounds of cuff weight so he couldn't pick his leg up. And where he was, that's where that front leg had to be. And we just took batting practice so that he could learn to stay in, to keep his front side in.
And it worked?
Until I took the weights off.
Well, we'll see what Canseco does. Canseco 1 for 3 with a 3-run home run, his 42nd of the year.
His only problem, he had to hit the ball out of the ballpark so he could uncuff his weights and then trot around the bases.
I think they call that abuse, don't they? Holy cow. Now this should be a pretty good matchup here. Canseco, the big strong hitter, against Nelson, the big strong right-hander. Canseco choked up on his bat the last time. It looks like he's got it choked up a little bit this time too. And the time that you start thinking that he's going to throw the breaking ball, you throw the fastball, the one that you wanted to swing at.
That's nasty. That
Yeah.
might have been just a shade low, but still, that's the ball's got good bite, good sinking. Now you're ready for the slider away. Nope, fastball in.
And it's way in for a ball. It's 2-1. But what Joe Torre wants to do with Nelson, he wants to test him on getting him in a couple of consecutive games. So he's got him in here tonight. Probably pitched to 3 batters, and if he can get him back in tomorrow and see how he reacts and how he does then he'll have a good idea on the physical condition of Jeff Nelson. Well, the count has gone to 3-1 on Canseco. Lined hard, but foul. And it took about 25 people with it. Well, that ball ricocheted off about 25 gourds down the left field line.
3-1 fastball. You throw the fastball inside, and this is what happens. The air on the fan there with the glove jumped, just didn't quite jump high enough. He must have had those leg weights on of mine.
Well, it's a 3-2 count with 1 out to Canseco. The runner will take off, and the pitch is swung on, and a throw down to second, not in time. So Canseco strikes out for the second time. And there's 2 gone. And that's going to bring Joe Torre out. Carlos Delgado, the left-handed bat, is coming up. He's got Graham Lloyd up in the bullpen. And this is what he has been doing all year long. This is what Torre likes to do. That's what Jeff Nelson likes to do, striking out big right-handed hitters. So the move has been made, and the left-hander will come in to pitch to Delgado. Good job again by Nelson. Yankees lead at 8-5. The men out here, 8-5. Nelson tipping the cap to the crowd, and another good job by him. And a couple of slaps on the neck by David Wells. Wells, see, now Wells, yeah, Wells knows how to tip the cap to the crowd. Of course, Wells had a perfect game, and he's trying to show Nelson, look, that was a pretty weak tip of the cap to this great crowd here at Yankee Stadium.
If I'm not correct me if I'm wrong, but he waved Wells, but Boomer waved it like the Babe used to, you know, wave that cap up there like that.
Well, when your idol is the Babe, you've got to emulate him as well as you can.
You know, whenever you talk about Babe Ruth, I think of John Goodman in the show.
Right now, Lloyd has to worry about Delgado. Lloyd's specialty is to get out left-handed hitters.
Look at that, 41 games and 33 1/3 innings. That tells you about an out a game or thereabouts.
That's a specialty guy.
That's a specialty guy.
And this is hit hard into right field, and O'Neill will move over to make the catch. Delgado does not make an easy out, but Toronto has gone 8-5 New York. Yankee fans are happy here in the bottom of the 7th. By winning New York, stay at the Shelburne Murray Hill. As Tino leads it off, or check that, Ricky Leday leads it off for the Yankees here in the bottom of the 7th inning. Good night for Leday. He is 2 for 3. And that ball fouled right off the helmet of Santiago. They hit him right on top of the helmet. It's a good thing he had a helmet on.
You can remember when the catchers didn't wear the helmets, right? Just had the regular cloth hat. Boy, that's got to shake you up a bit.
Got in on a hand, so he pops it up to Fernandez at third. One gone. Well, we're in the American League, so we're going to make a pitching change. St. Clair is gone with one out here in the bottom of the 7th. We'll be back right after this. Yankee fans try to pick up that American League East champion souvenir. Another pitching change. Carlos Almanzar comes in to pitch.
Carlos Almanzar was called up the 17th of August from their Syracuse ball club. He was 3-6 down there with 10 saves, a 2.31 ERA. Come up here, he's 1-2 with a 6.43 ERA in 18 games and 21 innings. Good live fastball. Good arm on this young man.
From the Dominican Republic. And the batter is Brocious. Brocious 1 for 2 tonight. Make it 2 for 3. A 1-out base hit by Brocious. Well, this has been a dream season for Scott Brocious, and he has done everything to turn his year around and also his baseball career around after coming over from Oakland. Terrible year for him last year. And he's hitting, coming into this game, .294. He's got a couple of hits tonight, so he's on his way to 300 with 17 home runs and 86 RBIs. And he's got a division championship already underneath his belt. Joe Girardi will step in. Joe is 2 for 3. 2 double. This could be 2. Gonzalez, Graybeck for 1. Back to Delgado. 6-4-3 double play, and the Yankees are gone here in the 7th. We played 7 here at the stadium, and the Yankees lead it by 3.
This copyrighted telecast is authorized under rights granted by the New York Yankees solely for the private, non-commercial use of our audience. Any publications, reproductions, retransmissions, or other use of the pictures, descriptions, and accounts of this game without the express written consent of the New York Yankees and WPIX is prohibited.
Well, TJ, the Yankee fans really relaxing here at the stadium with this 3-run lead. And we've got another pitching change for New York.
Well, another one of the guys with the bad back on the disabled list gets a chance to come in tonight. 18 games, 21 innings.
You know what? The Yankees have come up with something a little bit different here at Yankee Stadium. We talked about the batting circles. Well, we've got the batting squares now. I think when the Yankees went off, now correct me if I'm wrong, I think when the Yankees went off on their last road trip, those things were round. And when we come back this time, they're square.
Didn't we have a lot of rain here? It had rain and bad weather? Would that have blown so much that it might have blown them into a square?
Negative.
Okay.
Negative. Watch out, Shane.
El Duque has got gloves on. You know, really, when you're from Cuba, this is pretty cold weather for you.
Right. Uh-oh. A little feisty down there right now. Yankees are really enjoying this year, obviously. And Darren Holmes working his way back off the disabled list. Jose Cruz Jr. leads it off here in the 8th. Chad Curtis, the one squaring off. Pardon the pun, squaring off with El Duque on the batting squares.
I like him. Who says that you have to have circles?
Well, no, I didn't say you had to have circles. I just said that's I've never seen it before.
Do you remember in Yankee Stadium, Bobby?
Doesn't mean it's bad.
Do you remember in Yankee Stadium when the warm-up mounds used to be in back of home plate and the pitchers used to throw towards the screen?
Yeah. No, I don't. 2 balls, 2 strikes to Jose Cruz.
Right there, the warm-up mounds before the game, instead of throwing in the bullpen, the starting pitchers used to throw right there, right back towards home plate.
Use your telestrator there.
I am. I'm pointing and I'm doing it, and it just doesn't show up.
Good pitch by Holmes, striking out Cruz. A good start for Darren Holmes. 1 gone here in the 8th.
Since Darren Holmes has come back from the disabled list, he has thrown the ball, Bobby, much better location. And his breaking ball is sharper. Look at that. Locked him up inside. Good pitch. Jose Cruz Jr. doesn't like it. He got called on a Andy Pettit slider inside. Got called on a comeback fastball.
Well, he made his first appearance after coming off the disabled list last Saturday against Chicago. And Tony Fernandez takes a call strike. One thing that Darren Holmes has done since he's come back, he comes back throwing strikes. I mean, first pitch strikes. I mean, he's right in there challenging that hitter.
I think what happened earlier in the season, he just got off to a rocky start and just never recovered. And I know I talked to Don Baylor about him, and Baylor said, this kid's got good stuff, throws strikes, and you didn't see that at the first part of the season.
Let me ask you something. You know, Holmes coming over here wanting to do such a great job. Could his back have been hurting him in the first part of the year and he didn't tell anybody?
It could very well have been, and he'd been pitching under strain and trying to pitch through it, figuring, hey, you know, I've got to prove something to these guys. Could very well have happened. Because as we know, a pitcher, if there's something wrong, right when you get ready to throw the ball, you will know that it's going to grab or there's going to be pain there. Consequently, you don't have the good stuff.
Popped up down the left field line. It'll be back in the stand.
That's the pitch I've been impressed with. Boy,
yeah.
He's got a good biting curveball. Man, that thing goes
12-6. And he's got Fernandez 1 ball and 2 strikes and 1 out here in the 8th.
He might be a candidate for that fastball starting off the plate inside and then coming back over like he threw Cruz.
Well, it's the heat inside, and it's a little bit too far for a ball. Now it's 2-2.
Now you can follow that pitch, Bobby. That was a fastball that kind of moved inside. You can follow that right back again with that comeback on the inside, and that'll lock him up.
Out of play. Fernandez on 11-game hitting streak. Batting .313 now. With the Blue Jays for many, many years. Traded away, now he is back. Got him out in front, and he lifts it up into right field. 2 gone. So Holmes has retired the first 2 men here in the 8th. That'll bring up Benito Santiago.
Benito Santiago.
Santiago 2 for 3 with a run scored. Working his way back off the disabled list. And another strike thrown by Darren Holmes. I'll tell you what, I wouldn't be surprised if he didn't have something wrong with his back in the first part of the year that affected his pitching. Either that or the layoff because of the back. gave him a chance to think about what he was doing wrong and to correct it as he worked his way back on rehab.
Well, whatever it is, this is a totally different person on the mound, and I'm sure Joe and Mel are.
This is the guy. This is the guy that they thought they were getting.
That's exactly right.
That they didn't show up in the first part of the year.
He breaks the hand out of his glove, and that's just a little timing mechanism so that you don't rush. And he throws and gets, you can see why his back hurts. He gets a big follow through.
That'll be out of play. And that will be back into play now. Fans are booing the person that dropped that fly ball. It bounces all the way back into the playing field, and the ball boy picks it up. I'm going to give you play-by-play on it because I know you're interested. Ball boy takes it back over to the stands and gives it to a fan. And he strikes him out with a good breaking ball on the outside corner. Holmes comes in, strikes out 2 or 3 here in the 8th. Yankees lead it 8-5. Let's take a look at the game summary brought to you by Jeep, the most awarded winning brand of 4x4s on earth. And the game summary looks like this. There's a lot to it, especially in the first part of this game. Toronto, second inning, 5 runs on 5 hits, highlighted by a Canseco home run. Then O'Neill comes back in the first, but a 2-run shot himself. Second inning again, Leday singled and scored on a non-block single. New York third, 4 runs on 5 hits. O'Neill comes back with his second home run in the 4th inning. A solo shot into the upper deck. And Darren Holmes comes in to pitch the 8th inning, striking out 2 of 3, so he is on his way back. And I know Joe Torre and Stottlemyre are happy to have Nelson and Holmes back and pitching very well.
As we said, Bobby, earlier, the playoffs is all about pitching. And if you've got one more quality arm out there, it just gives you, boy, it gives you more ammunition that you can go, you know, plus you'll have a starter out there, obviously.
Non-block 2 for 2. He has walked twice. Boy, that's a pretty nasty pitch right there. That looks like a Pedro Bourbon type delivery, doesn't it?
This guy came into a game one time down in Charlotte and threw 11 pitches and struck out the side. He was just throwing that fastball away and then throwing that hard split finger. You're right. He reminds you a lot of Pedro Bourbon. Senior.
1-2 count on non-block. Up high, ball 2-2-2. Yankees have banged out 13 base hits, for which Knobloch has 2 of the 13. Out of play. The Yankees looking to win their 103rd game. I like to quote that Joe Torre said, the closest I ever came to 100 was 99 losses with the Mets in 1979.
I saw that. That was a great one.
That's a chopper to Gonzalez, and there's one gone. Well, Joe, you don't have to worry about it anymore because you've got 100 on the right side this time. You've got 103 possibly tonight. It's been a great run for Joe here in New York. And the Yankees continue to warm up their pitchers. That's Mike Buddy, the right-hander, and of course Stanton, the left-hander. I've been impressed with Almanzar and his control and the movement on his baseball and how hard he throws it. Look at that. Jeter is 0 for 4 and he is struck out twice. Every day there's something different in baseball. Last night he was the hero with a couple of home runs as the Yankees clinched, and tonight it hasn't been a good night. High and fairly deep into right field, but not deep enough. And Derek Jeter is 0 for 5. But that's going to bring up Paul O'Neill as Jeter goes back to ponder what happened tonight.
And that brings out Tim Johnson, and Timmy makes the call to the bullpen for the left-hander Dan Plesac, the ex-Milwaukee Brewer.
Well, another pitching change here at the stadium. We'll be back right after this. Well, it makes no difference if Derek Jeter is 0 for 5. She still loves Derek Jeter. So let's check the upcoming telecast brought to you by Ford. Expect more, get more, let your tri-state Ford store show you why there's more to afford. And tomorrow, as the Blue Jays continue this 4-game series, MSG will take over. Is that an 8:30 start or a 7:30 start? So it's a 7:30 start. And Saturday we'll be back right here on the WB11 at 4 o'clock. And then Sunday we'll conclude this 4-game series at 1:30 right here on the WB11. Then the Red Sox come to town Monday and Tuesday, both on MSG. And another pitching change, Mr. TJ.
What a job Big Dan Plesac has done. It was once the closer for the Brewers, and now he comes in. He's the Graham Lloyd, Mike Stanton with the Toronto Blue Jays. Gets the left-handers out. And that's what Mel Queen and Tim Johnson has him for. And they said he has done just an outstanding job this year in the role that they have him in.
Well, he was used primarily as a setup man in 1997, but he's here to get O'Neill out with a couple of men gone already here at the bottom of the 8th inning. And O'Neill is swinging a hot bat. He's 3 for 4 with 2 home runs. So he's got back-to-back 2-run home run games. And did he check his swing? Nope. He went around a little bit too far, said Hirschbeck down at third. So Plesac in front 0-2.
I think you'll see here that Paul does get the bat out just a little too far.
And that's right down Broadway, striking out O'Neill. So the Yankees are gone 1-2-3 with a couple of pitching changes here in the 8th, but they lead at 8-5 over Toronto. And as Tommy and I know, the right relationship is everything. As the Blue Jays come to bat here in the 9th inning, Graybeck will lead it off. Yankees have the 3-run lead. And Holmes is in for his 2nd inning. That pitch up high a bit. Holmes came in the 8th, struck out 2 of 3 there. So Joe extending him out just a little bit.
Because, Bobby, if he's going to pitch, he's going to pitch probably earlier in the game and is going to get a couple innings in, and you want to stretch him out and see exactly how he goes, especially tonight. It's a little cool. See how the back reacts to this cool, damp night.
On the ground, right side. Martinez up with it, and it's a nice lead as Holmes is there to cover. 1 gone.
That was a very nice lead by Tino Martinez. Too many first basemen throw the ball right at the bag. Tino threw the ball before the bag and let Holmes catch it, and then continue the run to first base and tag first base without having to catch it and tag it all at once.
Tino's wearing that clean look tonight, isn't he?
Yes, he is.
Alex Gonzalez. Gonzalez 0 for 3. Well, Gonzalez thought maybe he would take advantage of Brocious. Brocious was a little bit back of the bag at third, but you only get 1 shot at that. That will alert everybody. There's Brocious now. He's moved in a bit. And that will be fouled off to the right side out of play. Now it's 1-1. And it's also a broken bat.
Well, if he's going to try to bunt, he can bunt with the broken bat. Would deaden the ball more.
The crowd tonight, 25,881. Appeal towards first this time. That's Riley. He said Gonzalez did not go around. The appeal denied, and it's a 2-ball and a strike count to Gonzalez. That's off the end of the bat into center field. It will fall in front of Williams for a base hit. 1 out base hit here in the 9th inning. And Shannon Stewart will come to the plate.
Fastball away, and he got it off the end of his bat. Didn't hit it hard, but just hit it out there in front of Bernie. And wisely, with a 3-run lead, Bernie isn't going to do anything to let the runner go over to second base or farther.
Well, Gonzalez's run doesn't really mean that much. So Martinez will play behind Gonzalez at first with 1 out. That'll bring up Stewart, who's 1 for 3. Tomorrow's matchup is Hideki Arabu and Roger Clemens. And there goes Gonzalez down to second, and the throw is not in time. As I mentioned, they were not paying any attention to Gonzalez with the Yankees and a 3-run lead.
And with Tino playing back and the high leg kick of Darren Holmes, Gonzalez took off for second base. And I suppose if he wants a stolen base that badly, give it to him. And all you're trying to get is outs. You want to get that 27th out before a lot of guys get on base.
Yankees 53-14 here at Yankee Stadium. By far the best home record of anybody in baseball. Yankee bench awaiting that 103rd win. As home is behind now 3-1. Now it's 3-2. Down Broadway, strike 3. It looked like Stewart was looking for a breaking ball, maybe outside. As Stewart is struck out, 2 gone.
With a 3-2 count in the top of the 9th inning and you're down 3 runs, you can't be looking. That ball is on the inside half of the plate.
I know it.
Oh my heavens. You can't be looking for anything other than a fastball.
Well, the Yankees 1 out away from winning 8-5, and this return back to Yankee Stadium, first game of this 4-game series. And a tough hitter will step in, Sean Green. Green is 2 for 3. On his hands, and it's up towards Jeter. And Jeter makes the catch, and the Yankees will win it 8-5, and a nice job done by Darren Holmes, pitching the 8th and the 9th inning. As Joe Torre continues his rehab assignment as Holmes and Nelson work their way back to top form here in 1998 before the playoff start. And another big night from Paul O'Neill, another 2-run home run night.
Paul O'Neill swinging the bat very good, but I think the big thing tonight, other than the second inning, I think they found Andy Pettit. And if Andy Pettit can pitch like he did in the 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th innings, they've got a real jewel.
All right, TJ, we'll be back with the wrap-up right after this. Yankees win it 8-5. Well, that's it from Yankee Stadium. The final score once again, New York winning it 8-5 over Toronto. Please join us again Saturday at 4 o'clock as the Yankees again host this Toronto Blue Jay ball club.